And we are live. Hi, everyone, to another episode of Two Arab Journalists, One Levant. Today is a special episode. We have with us a special guest, Jordanian Senator Michael Nazal, or Michel Nazal, who's the chair of the Tourism and Heritage Committee. He's also the Jordanian Senate. And we're going to talk about an important topic, which is tourism in Jordan and the Middle East at large, especially with the war happening. And we're also going to touch on the Gaza plan that was rejected by Netanyahu and Abdul Sayed Michigan primary win. All right, Daoud, how are you? Mr. Michel, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Thank you so much, Michel Nazal, for being with us. And today is a special day because today the government of Jordan, the Prime Minister of Jordan, has delivered a high committee. Tell us about this committee that was delivered today, which has really great plans for the millennium of the baptismal.
Well, it's a pleasure to be with you. Thank you for inviting me. Today, as you just said rightly, yes, after a lot of pushing from us at the Senate Tourism Committee, finally the Prime Minister decided to chair a committee specifically for the 2030 special event for Jordan, for the world, for the Christian world, which is the 2000-year celebration of the baptism of Jesus Christ. Jordan has the main site where Jesus was baptized by John the Baptist.
Although the Israelis are trying to compete with you. They're trying to create their own alternative.
The Israelis have an access to the river, but the site itself and the river was not there 2,000 years ago. The riverbeds change locations, and the river passed actually where churches were built during the past 2,000 years, and it passed actually on the Jordanian side, and it passed in front of one of the old churches in the site itself. The river at that time, 2,000 years ago, was a much bigger river, and we all know that Jesus crossed the Jordan where John was baptizing. So it was not in the river; it was on the side, in the valley of the Jordan River Valley, which is on the Jordanian side, and that is proven by the number of churches that were built over the past 2,000 years, and confirmed by the Vatican, by the Greek Orthodox Church, and by all other churches that have built new churches on the site itself. So yes, the baptism site is on the Jordanian side of the river. We're not competing where Jesus was, but we know very well that 2,000 years ago, Jesus was not welcome in the west side of the river or in Jerusalem. And that's why all the old churches and all the antiquities that relate to Christianity started in Jordan and not in Palestine.
So this is really good news because you've had a very bad, difficult year in tourism. Can you tell us about the status of tourism this year and what are you trying to do in addition to the baptismal site?
Well, as you rightly said, yes, we've had a bad year. We've had several bad years ever since, I would say, from the Arab Spring. That's 2011 till today. We've had some good years in 2018-19. Then we had the COVID situation for 2.5 years. Then we had a very good year in 2023. Then we had the Gaza war in 24 and 25. And by the time we're recovering, and we had excellent reservations for 2026, the war on Iran started, and the overflying of airlines, European air carriers, and so on stopped completely. Yeah. Accordingly, we lost we lost most of our Western tourism that was coming to Jordan. I wouldn't say we lost all our tourism because 80% of our tourism is Gulf and expats coming back. But the 20% are these tourists that do cover all the touristic sectors that rely on tourism.
Oh, this is why Amman hotels are doing okay, but Petra and Wadi Rum are not doing good. Is that the reason?
Well, it's not only Amman. I mean, it's the number of tourists. After all, Petra, the Dead Sea, Madaba, the archaeological sites are all dependent on foreign tourists. They're not dependent on local tourism and Gulf tourism. Gulf tourism fills up Amman hotels, city hotels, and some of the Aqaba hotels are filled by regional tourism. But the rest of meaning the rest of hotels accommodations outside Amman and Aqaba, meaning all restaurants outside Amman Aqaba, meaning all travel agents, inbound travel agents, tourism transport, guides, souvenir shops, handcrafts, and guides. They're all dependent on those foreign tourists, 20% of the tourism sector. So yes, I wouldn't say 20% covers our costs. No, 20% covers the 20% is the one that covers the costs of the five sectors I mentioned. Uh, but the 80% covers only Amman's hotels and car rentals and the restaurants in Amman, basically.
So what are they doing? The owners of the tourist shops, the people who work in tourism, how are they surviving? Are there any programs to alleviate their financial burden? Have you talked to them? I mean, how are they
I
surviving
wouldn't say I wouldn't say we need to sue whoever has caused our problems.
now?
Basically, no, they're not doing very well. The government has tried to alleviate some of the problems by giving loans to all establishments. And unfortunately, not everybody was able to get the loans because it had to go through the banks of each bank. And many of them, their creditworthiness was not great because of the 15 years since the Arab Spring.
Yeah.
So, despite that the government is paying the interest on those loans, I mean, if you get the loan, if you're successfully obtaining a loan, then you'll get a loan with no interest. But still, yeah, we're getting more loans and more loans, which we'll have to pay back over the next 3, 4, 5 years to cover payroll, to keep our staff. And that's not actually a very good thing for us, but the government cannot really afford to subsidize all the sector.
Okay, can we go back to the Al-Maghtas because that's some good news. According to the press statement of the government, the new committee is going to be working on the integrated village, on the museum, on the green corridor, on upgrading the site. There's a lot of things that you have to do before 2030. Do you think that they are up to it? Do you think it will happen in the next 3 years to have all these things done?
Well, I was with the tourism committee at the Senate last week at the baptism site, and the roads are being asphalted, the infrastructure is being built. So yes, there is a lot of work happening now. But I think we have to really talk again to the churches to see the rituals that will have to happen in order to attract tourists, not to come as a photo op and visit the Jordan River, which is sometimes muddy in winter. Or not very clear, and it's a very small stream, but also to create a whole the process, just like the Umrah in Islam, where somebody, when he goes to Umrah in Mecca, he has to follow a certain procedure and a ritual. So we have to create rituals at the baptismal site to really attract people to do those rituals and get certified and certificates for them to keep and show off and say we went to where Christianity started. We're not talking about the baptismal site. We're talking about where the Christianity was established.
So you have Mukawar, you have Ajloun, you have Mar Elias. There's other sites in Jordan.
Those are sites to visit post the main site. The main site is where Christianity started. That's when Jesus was baptized. And that's where God spoke to the people there and said, "This is my beloved son." This is where it started.
Can you tell us about the village? Sorry, Natasha. The village that they're going to build. I heard it's going to be like an old village resembling the time of Jesus. Is that something that's going to have authenticity, or it's going to be a commercial village?
Well, I don't think I'll be the one to answer you on that question. I mean, you have to ask the people building it.
Yeah.
I saw the pictures and I saw that it's going to be very authentic. It's going to try to keep the authenticity.
They will try to make it as authentic as it was 2,000 years ago, yes. But we know very well that 2,000 years ago, John the Baptist was eating locust and honey. So there were no shops and there was no food.
That's true. So, Mr. Michel, how are you gonna convince people to come to Jordan? I'm thinking like long-term vision, right? Even if the war stopped, how are you gonna alleviate their fear of the region in general being always on fire? That, as we say in Arabic, على كف عفريت, which is mean on the palm of an ifrit or a jinni, which is any minute something is gonna happen. So, how are you gonna alleviate this fear? Like for us, for me, I go to Jordan all the time. I'm gonna go in a couple of months. I'm not worried. But for someone who's not from the region, especially Westerners, and not only Jordan, but think like Dubai. What's happening in Dubai? Is anyone even gonna travel to Dubai after what's happening? So, the reputation is now has been shattered. How are you planning to restore it?
Well, when I spoke about the 20% of our tourists, 20% is exactly 1 million people, 1.1 million people.
Yeah.
It's not a very big number. I mean, we're not talking about hundreds
But big
of
spending. I
millions.
mean, these are big
Rome,
spenders.
Rome gets 20 million a year.
Yeah,
How many
No,
but
people
they
go to
get
the Vatican?
33 million.
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if they get 33 million, I think it wouldn't be that difficult to convince a million people to come.
Okay.
It's how we package it, how we coordinate the work between Royal Jordanian, which is flying all the time, they don't stop.
Yeah.
I cannot depend on airlines that stop and go. So we will depend on Royal Jordanian opening new markets in Africa and in Asia. Markets that are not that affected. We will talk again to the Indian market, to the Chinese market, to the Malaysian market, to the Indonesian market, to the Japanese market. And those are markets that are not as affected as Western markets.
Now, talking about Western markets, Michelle, I met with you at the Evangelical Council the other day, and you made a very nice visit. But are you going to? I mean, I know that the dawn of Christianity is going to be in Washington, D.C. next year, early next year. So, are you going to make moves to Protestant churches, evangelical churches, mainstream Christian churches in America? Because they are actually much bigger than the other churches, but I haven't seen a lot of work in that area.
Well, talking about the U.S. market, the U.S. market is relatively big. Royal Jordanian now is flying to 5 destinations in the U.S. It's not only one city, it's 5 cities. And eventually they might grow to 2 more, Florida and California. So we'll be having 7 destinations in the U.S. It's all dependent on number of aircrafts that they have because, every aircraft going to any stop in the U.S. is a full 24 hours. The aircraft is off. So you need 1 aircraft for every destination. So physically, there are 5 aircrafts occupied just going to the US and 2 aircrafts occupied going to Canada and 1 going to London. That's 8 787s occupied already full time. We're not talking about Asia. We're not talking about other destinations. And we don't have an abundance of 787s. I mean, Jordania is not that big. So basically, the US market is very lucrative for us. The US market will continue to be a lucrative market. Marketing the Baptist Mill site and the Christianity and the dawn of Christianity to all denominations is of ultimate importance. We're not talking to the Catholics in the US. We're talking about museums, about Christianity. We're not talking about specific religion. So everybody is more than welcome to jump on board and come and visit the Dawn of Christianity Museum and to eventually come to Jordan.
I mean, are you working with Jordanian Americans to promote Jordan? Like I live in Washington D.C. in the suburbs, and there was the tourism board that just closed recently, and I don't know why, and maybe you can shed light on that. And the other thing is, like, Jordanian Americans play a big role. For example, what I do to promote Jordan, from the suburbs, is international nights at schools. So, and that's now is becoming a bit contentious because of the war. And you have the Israeli table, the Jordanian table, the Palestinian table, and there were many issues. We're not going to get into that. But the Jordanian table at international nights always grow a lot of attention. We sit, we talk about it. And I was wondering if there's any way you're thinking of creating some sort of a bridge between Jordan and Jordanian Americans, because they are your ambassadors to actually bring their friends, bring their cousins, to bring, what are your plans to do that?
Well, you mentioned you started talking about the Jordan Tourism Board office, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, the office was always in Washington, D.C. The office
yeah,
was working on a certain segment for a certain agency in Jordan all the time.
yeah.
It was not open to everybody. And, the tourism board actually does not work for one or two or 10 or five. It works for everybody in Jordan.
Mm,
Accordingly, now we have appointed agents, marketing companies to market Jordan across the US, not in Washington, D.C., not for a specific, but a general marketing campaign across the US. We also have now the worry of five destinations for our Jordanians. So we
yeah.
have to fill flights from Dallas, we have to fill flights from Chicago, we have
DC,
to
yeah.
fill flights from DC, from New
Yeah.
York, from
LA,
Detroit, eventually from LA and from
San Francisco.
Florida. So yes, we have to have marketing companies across that cover all of the US. And marketing companies that have branches all over are bigger than one office with three, four employees trying to grab all the markets. It does not work. On the other hand, yes, we will be talking about different segments. We're not talking only about film promotion or talking about people coming to do films or coming to or talk to religious groups or talking about tourism. We have Jordan offers so much that we have to really capture all the segments through different agents that are specifically catering for specific segments. So we cannot just be focused on one segment and forget the rest.
Now, you know that the church pastors have a lot of power among
Mm,
their members.
yeah.
So I would like to give you like 3 minutes or 2 minutes to address church pastors in America. So
Mm,
just pretend that Natasha and I are pastors. And what do you want to say to us? We believe in women pastors as well.
yeah.
Well, as I said earlier, Jordan is a very modern country, open to all religions without any discrimination. Jordan has been trying all the time, and I'm talking about all the time, going back to the 60s when we started flying, or late early 70s, flying to the United States. We were the first airline from the Arab world that flew to the United States. And
Mm.
just as anecdote, we were using the Syrian Arab Airlines license because they had the license to fly and they never flew. So we were the first airline that flew with the Syrian Arab Airline license with 747s to the United States. We reached Los Angeles, Dallas, Houston, and New York at that time. And our first tourists that came every year were Baptists and were Southerners and were people that came to visit the holy sites. And as I said earlier, the holy sites. Christianity started on the east bank of the Jordan River. Christianity was not permitted in the West Bank, in Palestine at the time of the Romans, at the time of Herodes, because they were afraid from Jesus Christ. So we're talking about Christianity, and all the churches are in Jordan. The churches
Mm.
that were built in the first, second, third, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh century. The mosaics of those churches are everywhere in Jordan. Cathedrals, we find them here and there. Yes, we need support to open up more and more of those sites. In Abu Nser, there's a cathedral that is surrounded by a fence. In Sofia, there's a church. So there are churches everywhere, and those churches were built, like the Aqaba Church was built in the year 200. Erhab's church was built in that same era.
Hmm.
The churches started underground, then they went overground. In Petra, there are churches. In Jerash, there are churches. So Christianity, the old Christianity, the start of Christianity was all here.
Yeah.
So if somebody really is interested to know about his religion or her religion, they have to come here.
Yeah, I did my DNA test, and it showed I'm 100% from the Levant, 100%, like pure. And it said people with this DNA are known to be the first Christians, or that because it traced us to Beit Lahem, Beit Jala, the north of
Can I
Jordan. Yeah,
add to those?
yeah.
We are the original Jews who converted to Christianity.
Oh wow! And how?
Amazing.
Yeah, you
What's
started
the
from
proof?
2,000 years ago. I'm going back to 3,000 years ago.
What's the proof? Like how? Because people would say
Your,
no.
There was no
your DNA will tell
Christianity
you.
before BC. There was no Christianity, so he's right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
so
if
it
you go
was
back
people
before
who
2,000 years ago, we were the original Jews who accepted Jesus Christ, who became Christians. And then somebody comes and tells us we're not original Jews. We are the original owners of the land in this part of the world. We're the
Yeah,
original Jews who converted to Christianity. So we are the
yeah,
original Christians. So
huh?
how can we talk
Yeah,
about anything other than that?
yeah. I
Nobody
mean,
can
my
come and
DNA
claim that
proves
he
it.
is the
Like
original
I
owner of the
know.
land.
My DNA proves it. Like I was shocked, not even 1%. I was 100. I mean, many of them like married close relatives in Madaba, so that's why. But and I'm thinking about, are we actually promoting this? I mean, I promote it to my friends, and people like joke and tell me Jesus daughter, but are we actually promoting that the inhabitants of the original Christians are in Jordan, as you mentioned, because they're the place of the east of the Jordan River? How are we promoting this? Because this is an amazing
When
insight.
when they allow everybody in the region to have a DNA test, which is not permitted,
unless in
then we
Israel
will prove
only.
who is and who is not.
Is it allowed in Jordan?
Of course it is.
It is allowed in
Yeah,
Jordan.
the
Okay.
Israelis
Okay.
don't allow it.
Yeah.
Why?
This has
Because they
been
want to
great.
prove that they're what, Ukrainians and Polish?
They're Christians, not Jews.
Ah,
Michel Nazal, the chair of the tourism committee in the Jordanian Senate, and a really good friend of us, and supporter of tourism and supporter of Christian tourism, and the leader among the Jordanian officials. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been an excellent guest, and hopefully what you said will help maybe one bit of crossing that 20% line to 15 to 10, and maybe to cancel it. So thank you so much for joining us, and we will be talking to you again in the next months or so on. Thank you so much.
No, you'll be talking to me very soon.
Okay. We'll see you
Very
We have a
soon.
meeting on Thursday.
All right. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye. Do we want to talk about Netanyahu's thing? Netanyahu is a master of
I can.
changing the goalposts.
Yeah.
Okay, what Netanyahu did, this 15-point plan that was presented to him, which he rejected yesterday, was presented to him before. He didn't reject it. He didn't agree to it, but he didn't reject it because he expected Hamas to reject it. When Hamas accepted it, all of a sudden he's changed the goalpost and said, no. We will not accept reciprocity. You give up your heavy weapons and we'll go down 5%. You give up more weapons, we'll go down more. He doesn't want reciprocity. He wants Hamas not to put their weapons in warehouses like in Ireland. He wants it to be destroyed. And once all their weapons, including their private weapons, are killed, are destroyed, then they will think about withdrawing. So this is, and it's a violation of the 20-point plan that Trump put. It's now a rejection of the 15 points, which he had seen, which Trump has supported. Now, clearly, there's elections in October, and clearly Netanyahu cares more about the elections than getting the Americans or anybody else upset. So it's very, very unfortunate. Unfortunately, people are still being killed. People are still, 60% of Gaza is still occupied. But the idea of changing the goalposts has to end.
Okay, so I was reading some of the comments about it. I think somebody commented maybe on your account on X, and I'm not sure if you saw this. And he said, the reason he rejected because Hamas are going to put the weapons in a warehouse that belongs to their cousin, and they're eventually going to get it. So they're not, I mean, how would you answer, especially that it came on your account? How would you answer an accusation like this?
Two things. The warehouses will be controlled by the 15-person technocratic committee which Israel has approved of. The members are people
Okay.
Israel, the United States approved of. Secondly, there will be an international force in Gaza that will be overall in charge of security, including to make sure that these weapons are under lock and key. So the idea that somebody will give it to his cousins, come on, this is. Look at what happened in Ireland. We don't want to go back to the fighting. We want to have peace. People in Gaza are dying to have a free life. Their innocent people are dying every day. Children are dying every day. And it's time for peace to come to Gaza.
Mm. So what's gonna happen now? He rejected it. Hamas approved it. Is Trump gonna pressure him maybe to reconsider?
A
What?
little
What?
bit, maybe. I don't know. I think again, maybe he moved the goalposts a lot. He will return. Maybe he'll agree to a small thing. I think he agreed to not to kill as many people now. He's not going to shoot as many people. So why are you shooting people? I mean, he admitted that he's killing Palestinians. Now he's going to kill them less. Come on, it's a sad situation.
In other news, there was big news that happened last week, which is actually you mentioned it. Remember last time, and you predicted his win. Abdul Sayed, who won the Michigan Democratic Senate primary, and this is big news because, as you told me last week, there are actually no Muslim senators. There are Muslim congressmen. This is the first time, most
And a
likely.
lot of Jewish members, a lot of Jewish senators, including
Yeah,
the speaker and then deputy or the
yeah.
Democratic leader.
And so APAC put 46 million backing his opponent, Haley Stevens. And that's a lot of money. And they also lost. And I just want to be a fly in the wall of the APAC office and see how did they react to this. I mean, what is going on there? What they have to do is a paradigm shift, I guess. I don't know. I mean, are they gonna continue working in the US now that they're losing all this money? What is the future for APAC now that they're just putting all this money and they're losing right, left, and center?
Yeah, I think there are two things that can happen. Either APAC is going to change or APAC will become not as important. It's already not as important as it used to be. In fact, it's become a liability. As we talked in
Yeah,
a few sessions ago, people
yeah,
are boasting, we don't take money from APAC. This never happened before. So APAC is becoming a liability. Anybody who takes money from APAC is immediately attacked by his opponents. So Abdul Said is going to have a great time attacking Rogers for taking foreign money. I mean, it's American money, but it's really for a foreign country, which is not, they're not registered as a foreign agent. And I think there is a sentiment today in America, including among Republicans, that what happened to America first? What happened to we will not have any war?
yeah.
What happened to keeping the money in America rather than sending it abroad? So I think it's become a difficult thing to have the money. People who don't have money will take it, but I don't think it's going to help. You saw, 70 million versus 9 million that he had, and he still beat the Stevens. So I think money is very important, but it's not the only thing in elections. And I think there is energy, there's young people with him, there's a lot of enthusiasm among young people in Michigan. So money alone is not going to resolve the he's asking for 5 debates, but Rogers, he lives half the time in Florida, half the time in Michigan, has not agreed to any debates yet.
He reminds me a lot of Mamdani. Similar energy, the campaign style, how he talks to people. And it says like this is kind of the new generation of the Democrats that is emerging, is the Mamdanization of the Democratic Party. I think that's where we're headed. But he received a lot, as expected, of hate. From Trump made fun of him, which he always makes fun of people, but he made fun of him. There were also accusation of him being related to Hamas or something, or his mom being related to something, and there's all these attacks, of course, against him. And I was wondering, is he gonna survive this? And part of me, I was like, are they gonna keep digging and digging and digging until they find something where they're gonna take him down?
Look, you're right that he's a lot like Mamdani, but I think he's a lot like Obama as well. Look, his mother is American, his father is an immigrant. He lost the first time around, like Obama lost the first time around. He has two daughters, like Obama had two daughters. And so there's a lot of similarity. Apparently, Obama also called him and talked to him. But the difference, I think, is that Obama became a Christian and, didn't say anything, even though they kept on saying Obama Hussein, or, Barack Hussein Obama. But this guy is not ashamed of his name, and he makes fun of those who make fun of his name. And he says, your name is Roger. You're saying Roger to Trump and everything, and he turned it around. So he's unabashed and unapologetic. And I think people like to see politicians who don't put their hands in the air and see where the wind is blowing, that he has a spine. Whatever you like him or not like him, at least he has a spine, and he will not change just so that he gets votes. And people like that in politicians.
Interesting. Yeah. And basically he owned his name instead of trying to Americanize it, or like giving it like a white name or whatever, which was kind of the older generation. But now the new generation are embracing their differences. But anyway, it's actually an exciting time to watch and see what's happening. I know many people are not that excited about the future. I am excited because I see the change is happening, not only like politics, AI, all of that. So I am I would remain optimistic.
Now we need to get more followers. We need to get more subscribers. Paid subscribers, you get a lot with us. One week a month I'll be available. I'll make available all the content, all the contacts that I have.
And we have new viewers here. Alistair Greaves and BD Gordon, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions in the remaining minutes we have, please feel free to ask or comment. Feel free, of course, to subscribe to our newsletters. They're always for free. We turned on the paid subscription to basically support our costs here, because we're doing this, from our own pockets, pro bono. And we, in return, we'll give you access to our archives, an hour of our time to ask about anything, and we will also give you an access to our Rolodex, which is worth a lot of money because especially Daoud, not me, Daoud is very well connected. So thank you for joining us again. If you have any questions, so Daoud, any final closing thoughts?
I'd love to have guests. I'm so happy we had Michelle Nazal with us. We had before other guests, and it seems that when we have guests, people really like that. And I think every other week we'll try to get a guest so that we can add different perspective. Thank you so much for your support, all of you, and stay tuned. Talk about us, tell other people about our Substack, and see you next Monday at 12 noon American time, 7 p.m. Middle Eastern time.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. See you. Bye-bye.